Hello friends, welcome to Coding Garden with CJ. In this hopefully short video, we're going to build a basic web page that listens for messages in Twitch chat. I am currently live on Twitch. There are people watching me, and they're going to help me build this thing. So to build this, I'm going to use a library called tmi.js. This is the Twitch messaging interface. It's a really great, really easy to use JavaScript library that allows me to listen for Twitch chat inside of a web page or even a node.js application. And thank you very much, Sean, for the 1,000 bits. I haven't seen the notification yet, but it should pop up. Hopefully. Hopefully. Is it borked? Did anybody see the notification? Oh, well. We got to keep moving. Right now, I have nothing but a README. So what we're going to do is we're going to set up a basic web page. Yeah, Rip, my notifications aren't working. That's unfortunate. But we're going to set up a basic web page, listen for messages in my Twitch chat right now. We're going to listen for the command start count, and then we're going to count any message that is the number 1. And we're going to display that on the page, as well as all the users that have sent that message. And then when we hear the command stop count, we are going to just say out loud what the count was. Oh, you're right. The token was revoked, so it can't listen anymore. I totally forgot. Well, we're going to keep moving. I'll fix it afterwards. Okay, so we need a web page. So I'm going to create an index.html, just a basic web page. We'll do a basic template. And we're going to call this the Twitch chat counter. We need to bring in the tmi.js library, and then we're also going to bring in our own custom JavaScript. So to get the tmi.js library, I typically just go to the tmi.js GitHub. So if you go to github.com/tmijs, in here you can go to the releases page and download the built version of TMI that will work in a web browser. You could probably find this on a CDN as well. You just need something that will work in the browser. And so here I'm going to download tmi.min.js. I'm going to save this into that directory. So go in here, Coding Garden, basic Twitch page, right there. Great. And now that I have tmi.min.js, I will bring it in. So I'll have the source here will be tmi. And then I need to bring in another JavaScript file. And this is where I'm going to write my custom code. So I'll call this app.js. Great. So we're going to create a file, app.js, and this is where I will listen for Twitch chat. So if you check out tmijs.com, they have an example that you can copy and paste. In this scenario, I'm not going to copy the require, because the require is if you were using it in a node environment or some environment in the browser that would support require, but I'm not. I'm just using the CDN. So I'm going to copy that, paste it in. And what I need to specify is what channel are we listening for messages in. In this case, I want to listen for messages in the Coding Garden Twitch channel. And you can see I don't have to specify a password because we're not sending any messages. I'm just listening for messages. So just like that, we should see all of the Twitch chat messages in the console. So I'm going to use an auto-refreshing static file server called Light Server. This isn't a build tool or anything like that. It's just a static file server that auto refreshes when things change. So there, yeah, you can see that things that happen in the Twitch chat also appear in my console, and it's actually a little bit faster than when my overlay is showing. So that's great. We're listening for messages. And so what I want to do is I want to listen for that start count command. So we got our setup. We're listening for messages. Now we want to listen for start count. And so we can really just say like, one thing you typically want to do with a bot is if self, just return true. In this specific scenario, we don't have to worry about that because our bot isn't sending messages, but this would just prevent you from responding to your own bot's messages. So I always just do that anyways. And then we can check. So we can say if message is equal to start count, do the thing. Else, do some other thing. So what I'm going to do here is we're going to start the count. So I'm going to have count be a global variable, starts off at 0. And then I'm going to have another variable that's like listening for count. And that's going to be a Boolean. Let's take a quick stretch. Just return no reason. Oh, yeah, you're right. Oh, thank you, Alka. And Alka's here. Alka's here. So Alka is one of the maintainers of tmi.js. Okay, so listening for count is false. That's great. And then, yeah, we're just going to return here. Okay, so if the message is start count, then we'll say listening for count is true. And then otherwise, if we are listening for the count, then we want to increment the counter. But we only want to increment the counter if the message is equal to 1. So if we're listening for count and message is equal to 1, so we're only going to look at messages that are literally the number 1. And we're also going to keep track of all the users that have sent a message. So we'll just have our users here, and this will be an object. And we're going to put the users in there. And technically, I can just use that to keep track of the count. Yeah, let's do that. So if we're listening for count and the message is literally the value 1, then I'm going to say users at tags.name, username? I don't know. We'll figure it out. Message.trim. Do I need to do that? I'm not going to do that. And actually, we really should just, let's do this. To debug it, we're going to log the tag. So tags has a bunch of information inside of it. And yeah, so Alka is telling me username is the login. So that's good. But let's just look at all the tags that happen for any message. So right now, it's going to listen for any user that does start count. So we go back over here. Anybody can just do start count. I guess I'll be the first. Start count. And now it should keep track. Yeah, and so these are the tags. This is all the information about the message that was sent. And the thing that I care about is username. Yeah, username, because that will keep it unique. So we'll say users at username equals true. And by doing this, and users at tags.username. By doing this, it will only count each user once. And so that way, one user doesn't get counted multiple times. And then we also want to listen for end count. So we'll say if, whoa, almost there. We only got a minute left. We'll probably take a little bit longer than that, but that's okay. So we'll say else if message is equal to end count, then we're going to say listening for count is false. And then we'll like display or like say count out loud. So we need to do that. I spelled message wrong, so we'll fix that. One thing we need to do here is display current count on page. So that's fine. Juicebox, welcome. My overlay is broken right now, but thank you very much for the raid. We are creating a very, very basic Twitch page that's going to count the number of people that say 1 in the chat. So you can help us out with this. And what's up, Anthony Writes Code? Welcome to the show. Everyone should check out Anthony Writes Code. Shout out to Juicebox. They are both a member of our live coders team. All right. So let's see if this works. So now, this is now waiting for a chat. So I'm going to say start count. So now it's listening. And now, actually, I'm not logging anything out. But every time someone types the number 1, it's actually increasing users behind the scene. We can take a look at users. If we expand it, there's only one person in it. Listening for count. Oh, did somebody do end count? Somebody might have done end count already. So one thing I actually want to do is I want to only allow me to start or end the count. So what I want to find is actually I can just look at the username. So we'll say if, let's extract out the username. So we'll say username equals tags, like that. And we'll say if username is equal to coding garden, and message equals start count, then we'll do that. And also right here. So basically I'm restricting it so that only I can start or end the count. Yeah, and Andrew is mentioning something else we could do. We could check to see if they're a mod. You could also do broadcaster, which is this specific account. There's a lot of ways to do it. I'm just going to do it in the simplest way here. So if it's me, start it, otherwise end it. And then here we're just going to log the number of keys in here. So we'll do object.keys users.length. So this count should go up, and we'll see it logged in the console. So I am going to start count, and if people type 1 in the chat, we can see it going up. Yeah. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9. So every single unique message increments the count. And then if I do end count, end count, like that, then it should no longer be listening. So now it's stopped and it's at the number 27. Great. Now all I need to do is take this information and actually put it on the web page. All right, see you later, Juicebox. Thank you very much for that raid. Thanks for bringing all your friends. All right, so at this point we need to display it on the page. Let's go to our HTML. We're going to create a little section here. So we'll create a div. We'll create a p tag. We'll give this an ID of count. And then we'll create another p tag, and we'll give this an ID of users. And then we're just going to update these. And actually, let's just make this an h1. We'll make this like an h3. And I'm going to bring in some very basic CSS so we don't have to worry about that. Would a set help? What do you mean a set? Oh, a set would work in exactly the same way. Yeah. I like objects. I've always used objects. But yeah, you're absolutely right, because basically we are keeping track of unique users. Sets are perfect for uniqueness. So basically we would just add the user to the set. But here I'm just adding a property to an object and setting it true. So if the same user sends the message twice, it's just going to overwrite it and it won't add a new key. Cool. So we have count and users. Let's just grab these in my my JavaScript here. So I'll say users element is document.query selector. With the ID users, and then we need to do the same thing with the count element. So we have the count element and the users element, which exactly correspond to this h1 and that h3. Now, when a message comes in, we'll say count element dot text content equals the total number here. And then we'll say users element dot text content equals all of the usernames joined together with a comma, and that should do it. So now I will start the count. Now type 1 in the chat if you want to be included in this counter. Nice. Very good. Very good. Cool. And now I'm going to stop it. So I will say stop count. All right. And now it should stop. It shouldn't go up anymore. So 50. We got 50. We got all the way up to 50. Wait, it's still going up. Is it? No. 52. There were some last few messages. Did I do the right thing? End count? Stop count. Oh, I did the wrong thing. Technically, it should still be going up. Yeah, I did the wrong command. I should actually do end count like that. And now it shouldn't go up anymore. So yeah, if you keep typing 1, it shouldn't go up. We should be stuck at 60 now. Huh? Yeah. So I don't see, the last person I see is Funny Dude. So yeah. Okay, great. So we've done it. It's a super basic website. It doesn't send messages in chat or anything like that. It's literally just listening for messages in Twitch chat, and then we have some interaction on the webpage. One last thing I'm gonna do, and this will be fun. This is beyond like Twitch or anything like that. Deploy. I guess actually one thing I can do. Let's actually do this. I have another idea. Let's implement a reset command. So if I do reset count. That will clear the entire page. So let's implement that. And really, I can start to clean this up. So basically, if the username is Coding Garden, then I'm going to have the specific things that are listening for commands, like this, and then I don't have to check in here. These are basically my command handlers. And then if the user is not me, then we decide whether or not to increment the count. So that's a little bit better. But now I can also say, if message equals to clear count, then we can say we'll basically just wipe it out. And thank you very much, Dean, for the Patreon pledge. Much appreciated. So count element text content will be nothing, and the users will be nothing. And we'll just say this is waiting for count. And we'll start that off right here. We'll say this is waiting for count. So now, waiting for count. Then I can do start count. And then anybody can type 1 in the chat. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. We got 2. All right, I'm going to end it really soon. So now I will do, well, I forget the command. Is it end count? End count. So now if I do end count, it should stop listening. So now we're stuck at 35. RS skin was the last one. Yeah, so it's not going up anymore. So that's great. And now I should be able to do clear count. Like that. And it says waiting for count. Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, well, the last thing is I actually want to say the count out loud. And so there actually is a speech synthesis built into the browser. Yeah, let's close that. Speech synthesis utterance. So we can do this. We can get, I don't know if I even want to get voices. And then we can do synth.speak. Okay. So this is built into the browser. I don't have to install anything, but basically what we'll do is when end count happens, we want to say the count out loud. So for that, we'll do window.speech synthesis. I guess we can specify, let's see what the default voice is. And I think actually we can just do dots. I think this is all it takes, dot speak. And then we want to speak the count. Oh, you're right. Yeah, I should reset the object. So whenever we clear the count, thank you very much. Yeah, we should say users is now back to nothing. And we'll just make this a let, so that way we can overwrite it. But yeah, thank you, Pure Lol, for thinking about that. When we clear, we want to reset so there are no more users. Okay, let's see if this works. Honestly, I just want to see if I can run this code in the browser and see if it will speak. Argument 1 is not an object. Well, utter this. Oh, we have to create a new speech synthesis utterance. Like, well, say, so we're just going to say count is equal to this, but that's going to grab the total count. Some browsers don't support it completely. Well, hopefully, Firefox supports it. Okay, let's see. So we're gonna do that, but instead we're gonna say hello world.
Hello world.
Did you hear it?
Hello world.
Great, that's beautiful. That's literally all I want. And so it will say the count whenever we have ended. That's awesome. Yeah, that's great. All right, let's put it on the interwebs. Actually, we'll test it. We'll test it one more time, and then we're ready to go. All right, is everyone ready for the final run? Don't type 1 in the chat because I'm gonna ask you to type. So I'm gonna do start count. Here we go. Look at it. Look at it. Okay, so type 1 in the chat, and the number will go up and up and up and up and up. Very nice. Let's see how high we can get it. It says there are 199 people watching, but I don't know how many people actually have the Twitch chat open. We'll let it keep going. I will mention that it's unique. So if you've already typed 1, it's not going to count you twice. You can only type 1 once. Seriously. And Mulgort. And Izzo. And Liam. And Capel. My cup is blue. Yeah, that's why. Invisible. Alka typed 8. All right, so are you ready? So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to say end count, and it should say the number out loud. Are you ready?
82.
82. Nice. How to count to 1. That's awesome. So last thing I'll do is just deploy it, and I think to deploy it, I'll use Surge.